Hello guys. Welcome to Diablo the Primordial. This video is the continuation video after side change. So if you have not watched it, then please watch it. The link is in the description. And please check out my second channel Top Anime Sensei for the light novel of Tensei. So without any further delay, let's start. But before we start, please like, subscribe and press the bell icon so you don't miss the updates. At the same time, the spirit bombs explode and caused a chain explosion inside the barrier. It was originally an attack of holy demonic attribute that could be defended against. Yes, originally. It's lie right. That footman, he eat the explosion energy. The energy of the union of holy and demonic attribute was too compatible with footman who obtained Kazarium's attribute. Even while his body is burnt, as his body were regenerated by his super recovery ability, his lost energy was replenished. Footman didn't keep his original form anymore and his size was enlarged into 3 meters, becoming an incarnation of violence. Why do you use something like explosions of holy demonic attribute? How cruel. Aren't you the one who agreed to it? Although Benimaru and Laplace was quarreling and screaming, that was an act to lighten the atmosphere even a bit. It might be said that the situation was the worst. As the current attack was not working, the only way left is to wait until Benimaru's energy to be restored. It was such a pessimistic plan. It was unknown whether it would succeed. It was also clear that Footman would become able to master Vega's power if they're buying time for it. The current Footman raged recklessly as he lost his ego. He will kill all the living people in this place completely. The only point that can be said as saving grace was his egoless attack, which was means of survival for Benimaru and co. It can't be helped. It will be a war of attrition. I guess we only have to do it. That's right, there's no other way. I shall accompany you. No helping it. Prioritize yourself to survive above all else. The 4 people were prepared for it. But, the overwhelming determination and touching emotion of the 4 people was destroyed in the next moment. Kufufufu. So, this is what said that, you are never careful enough in the final stage, Benimaru Dono. No one knew when he arrived, an evil demon suddenly appeared behind Footman and gripped his head. And just like that, he flung it against the ground. The demon turned around and shrugged his shoulder like he was showing his disappointment. Against such small fry of this level, what are you guys playing around? With a sarcastic smile, he said those words. I let out a sigh, as I looked at Diablo, who was going, kufufufu. He's totally getting carried away. It felt like he was saying, thank you very much. That bulky Pierrot who was Diablo's opponent. I think Footman was his name. I can't help but feel sorry for him. He's pretty much insane now, having only the motive to kill every other moving thing in his immediate vicinity, but it's not like I'm actually worried about him. The one who I need to worry about was Leon, who is now collapsed before me. I walked over to Leon's side, and placed my hand onto his chest. Leon's subordinates were looking at me all surprised, but I put a finger on my lip, as a sign for them to keep quiet. Now wasn't the time for a vocal dispute. I took out a full potion from my chest pocket and I used it to close up the gaping hole in Leon's chest. But, the potion only did that much. Leon had yet to wake up, even though his body had been repaired. But, there was no need to panic. This was still, the closed-off world inside of Mazari's barrier. You could say, that Leon was really lucky. Just because, if I had not come he would have been in real danger. In the first place, if I were to give a reason as to why we are here, I'm letting Velda assume that I'm dead, as I observed everything happening in the world while lurking in the shadows. The mini-Moss clones stealthily dispersed by Diablo were greatly convenient. They provided some of the best spy information, as always. My observation magic, and Moss's spy intel. Understanding what was happening anywhere was easy peasy, no matter where I chose to hide. Well, transferring the information into the alternate dimension I was hiding in took some work, but I got sealed to do this, so this problem was solved. Using some magic theory I totally didn't understand, she created a comfortable space for where we did our spying. As expected of Sensei, she's almighty as always. We collected all sorts of information in that space, and as I was looking through it all with Diablo, Velda's presence was detected, in Leon's territory. There is a very high chance, that it is not his main body, but, the chance to gain some much needed intel is also there. I see. If it's Sensei's words, it must be true. And that was pretty much the gist of why I'm here now. Well, it's not like the situations in the other locations can be ignored, but this war ends when Velda is defeated, so what I will prioritize was pretty obvious. Over at Guy's place, his battle with Chloe was growing in intensity, but there were no big changes just yet. Rumina's side was also on a pinch, but there's Adelman and Albert, along with Xian too. They'd be able to hold out for a while. It would have been the best if I could defeat Velda when he appeared here, but that's just wishful thinking. It looks like Velda's objective was to recover the power that he had given to Kazarium. He gave his projection physical mass, which meant he linked a portion of his actual body as part of the projection's data with an ability similar to parallel existence. Parallel existence was an ability that let the user control clones of himself, but needed energy to be divided for each copy. What he did was that he only overlapped his consciousness with the projection data so as to allow him to recover the power as data. That sounds about right. Parallel existence, which there is always a main body, or multiple existence in which every copy is a main body. Which one is more of a pain to deal with, depends on the person using the ability. But, in terms of ability classing, multiple existence is definitely one of the highest tier abilities without a doubt. Even now, as Seal-sensei is analyzing it right now, I can say that with confidence. But I digressed. The moment I arrived was right when Velda's multiple existence copy had finished recovering the power from Kazarium. I had just missed him. Nothing I can do about that. By the time I teleported over after detecting him, Velda had already finished what he came here for. Information was delivered at the moment of cognition. That was one of the annoying things about multiple existence. It's impossible to overpower that transfer speed, unless you use some ability to stop time. To quote Seal-sensei, the speed at which data was transferred was practically faster than the speed of light. It was word for word, at the same time. So, there wasn't anything we could have done to prevent Velda from slipping through our fingers this time. In any case, this was but a portion of him as data, so it's not like we could have given him a finishing blow anyways, so I was not going to lose sleep over this. The real problem happened after that. Mazari repaired the hole in the barrier that Benimaru and Kazarium's battle opened. That was likely his attempt to cut off Velda's data body, but that was impossible even with the reaction speed of a demon. Rather, you could say it was a valiant attempt, with the situation being what it was. Me and DIABLO'S snuck in through the hole too, but now we're stuck inside too. For us who were painstakingly avoiding getting found by Velda, breaking the barrier to leave was a no-go. We'd definitely be found out if we did that. This was a slightly embarrassing situation, so me and DIABLO were completely hiding our presence and observing the others instead. So, we sat back for a while, and Leon collapsed soon after that. It looked like it would be a death confirmed if this went on as is, so I decided to lend a hand and made my appearance. That was after getting the green light from Seal, after confirming no data could be transferred in or out of Mazari's wonderful barrier. If there was any chance at all that I would get found by Velda, I would have left Leon to his own fate. Don't think too badly of me, the important thing now is defeating Velda. This may seem cold, but this was just me setting my priorities straight. But this was good luck for Leon, as our current location was completely shut out from the outside world. I immediately strengthened Mazari's barrier, in preparation for making my appearance. And here we are again, as I started treating Leon. At a glance, his soul seemed intact, but his core had taken damage. It was the source of power that an awakened hero attained. If this was damaged, they became unable to properly control their powers. That was what was reported, after Seal-sensei did a calm analysis. Fumu, what should I do now? But, the remainder are making a ruckus, which is a problem. Benimaru seemed to be very drained after his bout with Kazarium, and couldn't defeat that blob in a single attack as he was now. As expected, he understood that he shouldn't waste energy in attacks that don't get him results, so there's no sign of him trying to do such things. Soy and that devil Laplace too, lacked the firepower to cause any decisive damage. Mazari was putting all her effort into her barrier, which is the right decision. They looked to be stalling until Benimaru recovered his energy, but that wouldn't give me much peace of mind to carry on with treatment. I kinda felt bad for Benimaru, but I judged that this is time for DIABLO to make his appearance. Alright, can't help it huh? Go for it, DIABLO-san. The moment I gave my order, DIABLO, who was standing by, sprung into action. Kufufufu, leave it to me, my master. He gleefully and grandly makes his appearance, grabs Footman by the head and slams him into the ground. That was quite the outset, were my thoughts when I saw what happened. The rest who were shocked, and DIABLO with his smug face. From there on, the situation was expected to become one-sided. I focused on treating Leon, and when I snuck a peek at what was happening. Kufufufu. What's wrong? Is that all that your power amounts to? It had turned into a situation where I wanted to say, just what kind of a villain are you? Well, was it because I also gave him orders in a somewhat villainous tone? Nah, that's probably not it. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. And if you guys have not watched my earlier videos, then please watch them. The links are in the description. And please check out my other channel Top Anime Sensei for the light novel of Tensura. And don't forget to like, subscribe and press the bell icon so you don't miss the updates.